Turn attention to a subject that is critical, petroleum deregulation. This is a very thorny subject, a subject almost like an on and off issue, comes into stream and goes off stream, so to speak. And government is likely to start what we're now hearing, the implementation of the advanced form of deregulation of the petroleum sector. And it's good that Adam Mutawakilu, Member of Parliament for Damango, who is a member of Parliament Mines and Energy Committee, Select Committee, to help us do the discussions. And if this happens, importers and marketers of the petroleum product will set their own prices instead of the National Petroleum Authority. Well, is that going to bring chaos? We don't know. The development could see prices come down eventually as various players compete to attract more customers to their service stations. However, some players have told Joy Business the move is likely to be implemented from 1st July. That's why we have him here. True?
Thank you very much. Deregulation, petroleum deregulation.
What is it?
That means that free to set your own prices. Government do not provide subsidies. So this is going to bring about competition and efficiency. One of the products for now, let me say, is cement. Government doesn't regulate cement. They produce GASM, Savasem, they all produce, and they compete. So it is a deregulated area. With the nature of a petroleum product, the issue of deregulating it started 18 years ago, that is in 1997, under the Rawlings regime. When President Kufuor came, the National Petroleum Authority was set up. And that was the main purpose, is to deregulate the petroleum industry. Then, as we move on, we realize that it is better to deregulate because at the end of the day, it benefits the final consumer because it brings about competition. And competition brings about what? Efficiency. And we think that it is time to bite the bullet than to always bring petroleum issues into politics too much. And I think it is in the right direction. People might have different, but I believe that when it is implemented and the various BDCs and marketers, they come importers, they interplay, it will benefit us.
So we already have MPA. Are they already playing that role? And in what form is the role being played?
You see, MPA, to some extent, was not only a regulatory body in that sense. When we come to deregulation, it wasn't fully deregulated because there are some subsidies that they have to ask the importers, okay, you imported this, we don't want that, we want it at this. And that is not deregulation. Even though we say they are deregulated, it wasn't full deregulation. And therefore, this time they will leave them to go ahead with it. So, however, they will ensure that as a regulator, certain basic things are still being followed. So now importers will bring their product, sell to the general public without so much intervention from the National Petroleum Authority. Because this has resulted into so many BDCs saying that the government owes them as a result of under-recovery, and it leads to fuel shortage because at a point in August last year, you realize that the BDCs were on strike. And for about a week, we had petroleum shortage in the country. So if it is deregulated, there will be constant flow of petroleum products. Also, MPA will ensure that you don't just bring anything. As a regulator, they have to ensure that you import quality products and you don't import products that are banned. So that is another aspect MPA, National Petroleum Authority, will do. It doesn't just mean that you just leave everybody, bring whatever you want to bring. No. They will ensure that you bring the right product to the country.
Apart from improved service delivery and service quality, what other advantages are there for deregulation?
Yeah, these are the main ones. Deregulation also will ensure that government is free.
Doesn't pay subsidies?
No, no more subsidies.
You're sure it can happen? Because the subject
let it take its effect until it takes effect.
The subject of payment of subsidies or perhaps topping up as far as what the expenditure or purchases are for fuel for the public is always an issue that becomes very political especially when we get to the point where the international prices for Brent and the other crude prices are up?
It is because of government intervention. That is why it is political. You understand? If government say, okay, sell it at this. But if we deregulate and everybody knows that we bring products, sell, MPSD2 is to ensure that the right products are brought into the country, it will depoliticize petroleum products. That is where the problem is. Where the government intervention is so great, then it is more political. But whereby it is deregulated, I don't think when in terms of cement, everything is so tied to politics. Even though I know at the end of the day some people will force it, but it's not direct as to that of the petroleum products, because government regulates. Okay, it is this, I'll provide this to cushion it, and that is the subsidy. And we think that it's time. Also, the subsidy also allow importers to dilute. If they know that the price of kerosene is this, it has been subsidized heavily because it goes to support the rural poor. At the end of the day, they buy it and dilute it with gas oil, that is diesel or gasoline, petrol.
Which is illegal.
Which is illegal. And MP has been doing a lot of collaboration on that, work on that to ensure that we have good. Even though like kerosene, when it is subsidized heavily, if you go to the communities, the end user still pay, if not at the same level as if it has not been subsidized, or more, because of the middlemen within. Some go to sell in bottles. And that is why the government is pursuing the solar lantern program to ensure that the rural communities have these solar lanterns instead of buying on the kerosene, so that the subsidies could be taken off. And therefore, deregulation will put all of them at par and discourage dilution of petroleum products. We know what it can do to our engines.
The committee in which you are a member?
I'm a member.
Okay.
Yes.
Of the Mines and Energy Committee. That's what you deal with. Something.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of organizations,
including this.
Including
okay.
this. Yes.
Is it? Do we have a consensus among the committee members about the current announced policy that from now we're going to have government hands off, which I'm a bit skeptical about? But what's the feedback? I
think we met the NPA. They have discussed it at length some time ago, how they are working towards deregulation. And I think the members did not oppose it much. We think that looking at the statistics and the amount that is being spent on subsidies, also the subsidy resulting in dilution, and the work that the NPA is doing to ensure that this does not happen, the cost involved was too much. So if we deregulate, you bring shoddy products, NPA detects it, it announced like Food and Drugs Authority, and then we see whether customers will go there to buy your products. Okay. They ban your product from being imported, and it will go a long way to bring about efficiency and supply of quality products.
Well, so we have on the line Kweku Ajimandria. He is the president of the Oil Marketing Companies of our Republic, Ghana. And thanks for joining me, sir.
Hello.
Well, good morning, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Candidly, I want to ask you, this whole now policy direction that we're hearing could start from July 1. Do you think it's implementable, it is feasible, looking at our recent history of the way we've dealt or played around the subject of deregulation of the petroleum sector?
Oh, well, I think we have been champions of deregulation since 1996.
Indeed, I've interviewed you at your office in Laboni before, and you stated
you're right.
adequately.
You're right. And we have been, because we realize that it's more sustainable than the current framework that we have working. So I think it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, if you implement something like this, you may have some few challenges, but you may have to deal with the challenges and make sure that because a lot of countries are doing it, and for us, I think it's an opportune time for us to be able to handle it.
But to you, as oil marketing firms, what would be the advantage of deregulation as a policy if it's implemented fully in Ghana?
Simple. The advantage is that we will not have hiccups like shortages as a result of forest losses, as a result of government not paying subsidies. So fuel will be there every time, anytime anybody needs it. I mean, you witnessed what happened in Nigeria last week. And basically, if we don't do anything, we are going to gravitate into that direction. So, I mean, the benefit is enormous.
Now, for the marketing firms, perhaps you have enumerated that would be good. But we know realistically, when the commodity prices or the international prices for Brent and crude go up, we tend to feel a pinch in the third world, or so to speak, our part of the developing world. That also leads government to perhaps prompting to have a very good public opinion as a result of that, try to subsidize. Do you think, from all the experiences we've had over the last 2 decades, it's feasible that at that point, when the prices are up, government in our part of the world, could be any government, would steadfastly stick to the policy of deregulation fully?
You know, in every policy which comes out, there will always be a safety net. In countries where they have done full deregulation, there's always safety net for the vulnerable. And I believe this one will also have something in that context. And you know, you were just talking about the prices going up.
Yes, sir.
Remember that recently when the prices were going down, people never had the benefit because government said we were putting some money in down there so that...
Well, because we were owing. We had piled up debts.
We were owing, and you have to go there. If we're in the deregulation sector, full liberalized economy, you will see the prices going down further because there's competition among, we have our 120 OMCs. Can you imagine? There's no way for cartelism, and all that we have is competition, and the consumer will be the beneficiary.
Well, Ms. Hajimandia, it's good that you've joined us. Please be on the line because I have a member of Parliament, Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament here, and his name is Adam Mitawakil. Let me just pose this question to him. And that point, when we get to the stage where the prices are high, you think government, because you are politicians, are not going to fidget with the prices? Because, well, let's say it's close to an election, let's say 2020, beginning of the year. Now, we have implemented deregulation. Government may not be doing too well. Well, now we have energy, for example, the problem. And now you go and add the petroleum prices increasing, and the public will not be too happy. You also want to look good in the eyes of the public.
You see, when you leave things in a matter of deregulation, that is, in another way, say, you can also say depoliticizing.
Correct.
That is what I indicated. You see, the intervention of government has brought the petroleum product to be politicized. So if you deregulate, I don't think anybody goes to say cement, government is doing this to do this in cement as so much. And I told you that in that area, because deregulation is free, it brings about efficiency. Competition is there. Efficiency there, the consumer benefit. That is the same way. We want to ensure that we don't tie too much of politics into the petroleum industry. And that is the best way to go. As he indicated, there may be safety net, like the public transport or state transport. There may be some, I know NPA will come up with some measures they will put in place to ensure that the vulnerable who go by those transport will be protected. But most of us who use our personal cars, I think.
Ms. Ajimandria,
yes,
we've been in our part of the world. What happens consistently is promises are given. For example, we have BRT. BRT is supposed to be implemented, exclusive bus lanes for people who want to access that type of public sector or public transport. Never been implemented. You go to the UK, it's a thing in there. Mr. Adam Mutawakili knows that. But now, that is not implemented. We have buses that are supposed to be subsidized for the poor. The buses will not be available on the roads. At the end of the day, transportation doesn't become efficient publicly. So if we have such perhaps variables also interplaying and you have deregulation, are you sure that government will stick to the deregulation policy at a point in time when things are hard, when we know transportation prices also affect other inflationary trends as far as prices are concerned?
One of the things is that, like I said earlier, you implement the policy. There are some few challenges, but it doesn't mean you stop the policy, but you deal with the challenges and move on.
Yeah.
I think we have done back and forth for a long period, and I believe this is the time that we have to move forward. People don't want to revisit what happened in Nigeria last week, the week before, and I think it's an opportunity time for all of us to embrace it, whether politicians or the general public or every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Let's make it work so that at least we'll have the comfort of having fuel all the time. It's very bad around this time. In fact, if we don't do it now, and it gets into December, we'll be piling up a lot more of these arrears, and it becomes impossible for the BPCs to take the product. Hence, the OMCs cannot have product in the retail outlet.
Well, you are saying that the time is opportune now. Is that it?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
For you, the OMCs, what does it mean? It means that, well, let's say Shell's prices will be lower than Goil, or Goil's prices will be lower than the other competitor, let's say Total or the others. We have a number of them now.
Exactly. The prices for each OMC will be different or the same with another to be very competitive.
Right. Yeah.
And what is going to happen is that we want to ensure that the prices of, if you price your product as an OMC, it will be the same throughout the country at every pump. So it will not be a very one that you have a different price in Kumasi and say a different price in Accra. Once it's your retail outlet, you have it the same. Let's give an example. Like you mentioned Total, so I'll use Total then. So that's have a station in Accra, and the fuel price is X amount. You go to Kumasi to be the same. You go to the North to be the same. Just to make sure that we have just there, because we still maintain the UPPDF to make sure that the equalization of prices around. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Kwekwa Ajimandria is the president for the Association of Oil Marketing Companies of Ghana, and thanks for joining me, Mr. Ajimandria.
Yeah, you realize that when it comes to the public, the Minister of Transport has imported so many buses to augment what we already have, whilst the Accra Metropolitan Authorities has come out with a plan to design the roads for public transport. So it is in the right direction, but we shouldn't say that because of that we have to wait until all those things happen before deregulation takes effect. There will be challenges in whatever you implement, but at the end of the day, it's the motivation to overcome the challenges and ensure that it works. That is very, very important. So I know the NPA, the CEO, Honorable Moses Asaga, is very determined to ensure that it works, and we all support him, and every Ghanaian should support him to succeed, because at the end of the day, the consumer benefits. If there is fuel shortage here today, you buy fuel twice the price, and you see a black market of fuel will take place. And as he indicated, in Nigeria, there was total chaos. Even some flights have to come to Ghana to refuel and take off. So it is not good to experience it. And therefore, if deregulation will make it available to us as and when we want it at a benefit to the consumer, I think it is the best thing to do.
Now, we'll set a policy, but we already have a backlog of debts we have to pay to the BDCs, etc. Is that not the case?
Yes.
How are we going to clear that in the midst of implementing a new policy?
I think that will be taken off, and the government will discuss with the MPA who represent government here, will discuss with the BDCs and the importer to see how to settle it. I know there will be a way out to settle it. Yeah.
Do you know the time for starting this very policy?
No, I don't know, frankly. But I heard 1st July. But we've been briefed some months ago as a committee. We had a workshop, we invited the MPA, and they briefed it into detail. As I indicated, we are not having day-to-day interaction with the organization. We have a responsibility of oversight. But we invite them, so as they implement it, they have briefed us. They indicated they will implement it. I know the committee will invite MPA to brief us as to the measures they will put in place to ensure that it succeeds, and what support they will need from Parliament. to ensure that deregulation of the petroleum industry succeed. I mean the lower level, not the upstream.
And as we wrap up our discussions on this, how do we make sure that the oil marketing companies don't maintain some monopoly over pricing? There's no differentiation, there's no price differentiation, so to speak. Just like, let's say we'll have an OPEC.
Now, MPA will do that, will handle that. MPA will handle that. There won't be monopoly. Because already there are so many oil marketing companies, BDCs around. So
who are competing in the
definitely there will be competition, and they will want to get more share of the market. That will be their maybe to make profit.
It's all about market
you have to control the market share, yes. And therefore whatever you do to control the market share, there you can now have your various type of profit making. Whether you want to make a small margin and have a bigger volume, which at the end will give you or you want to throat cutting, make high profit at a shorter time. And the consumer being rational will now be very keen to know what is this oil marketing or importer charging, so that you can easily switch. If Shell is high, you go to Total. If Goel is high, lower, then so consumers will have so much choice to make.
Okay. Thank you very much. Adam Butawakilu is a member of parliament for Damango, and he's a member of the NDC, but they're also a member of Parliament Select Committee on Mines and Energy, and joining me this morning. Thanks for joining me, sir.
I'm very grateful. For being
we
here.
hope to see you again next week.
Thank you.
We'll have a thorough discussion on national issues.
Thank you very
but also,
much.
you're feeling a bit under the weather. My colleague, my mate here, and Mama Uswabwaje, please have a speedy recovery. I want you here. I'm feeling lonely. I miss you. Okay, so that'll be it for the show this morning. Thanks for your interactive messages on our social network page on Facebook, Join Us on TV, and also a handle on Twitter, Join Us on TV. This is what we do. After the show, we upload all the segments on our YouTube channel, and the channel's name is My Joy Online. When you get there, we'll have over 5,500 videos uploaded and counting. Please watch today's segments, the various discussions, and let's have a talk again same time tomorrow. And that's it for the AM show. I'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.